This person loves you in silence because this connection is sacred. Someone is completely occupied by thoughts of you, but right now you cannot be with them. Deep inside, your intuition already feels that this is true. Even when your mind tries to dismiss it, pause for a moment, breathe slowly, and listen closely, because what you are about to understand is not random. It is not something your imagination created. The person who suddenly entered your thoughts did not appear there without a reason. There is a quiet but powerful connection between the two of you, a bond that neither of you can fully explain or easily walk away from. It is not just a passing thought that disappears after a moment. It is something deep, steady, and impossible to ignore. They feel drawn toward you in a way that is both intense and carefully controlled, a kind of emotion they may have never truly allowed themselves to feel before. Yet something keeps the two of you apart. Something makes this connection feel forbidden, and understanding exactly why this is happening may completely change how you see every thought, every feeling, and every shared moment between you. Even with physical distance between you, someone out there is deeply consumed by thoughts of you. But this special bond is not something that can fully happen right now. This situation reveals two important truths that you need to understand clearly. Take a slow breath before you continue, because this message did not come to you by accident. If this silent message of love connects with something inside you, leave a like so others can also discover this sacred truth. You did not find these words by chance. The person who appeared in your mind just now is there for a reason. There is someone connected to your life, or someone who keeps returning to your thoughts without effort, who shares a very deep bond with you. It is not a temporary emotion. It is not light, and it is not something that will disappear quickly. It is profound. It is constant, peaceful, and always present somewhere beneath the surface. They are drawn to you, but not in a loud, dramatic, or obvious way. It is a quiet and controlled feeling, something they have never truly allowed themselves to experience before. Yet this bond feels completely restricted, not because love is missing, but because something is standing in the way. That restricted feeling reveals two very important truths. These truths explain why the connection feels so powerful, why distance remains between you, and why neither of you can fully move forward or completely let go of what exists. Before we go deeper into what these truths reveal, if these words are already touching something real inside you, if you felt your breathing shift while hearing this, subscribe to the channel now and turn on all notifications. This space is made for people who feel things others cannot easily explain. You must first accept one simple truth. When a connection feels limited, it does not mean it is weak. In many cases, it means the exact opposite. Restricted connections are rarely shallow. They do not begin when life feels simple and easy. They do not come from boredom or empty moments. They are not created from loneliness or a quick attraction that fades. They come from a deep recognition inside the heart and the mind. This person did not choose to develop these feelings for you. It happened slowly at first, and then all at once. In the beginning, you were simply someone they noticed. Then you became someone they respected. Then someone they trusted. And without fully understanding how, you became the person they could not stop thinking about. What makes this connection restricted is not a lack of real feeling. It is the circumstances, the timing, the responsibilities, the fears, and the personal boundaries standing in the way. This is where the first important truth begins to appear. This person is fighting an internal battle every single day because of you. They are not fighting against you. They are struggling with their own emotions. They wake up thinking about you and immediately tell themselves why they should not. They replay your past conversations in their mind and then criticize themselves for smiling. They imagine what it would feel like to be close to you and then quickly force those thoughts away because wanting you feels dangerous. Not dangerous to their emotions, but dangerous to the life they have built and the values they have followed for years. For some people, this means they are already committed to someone else. For others, it means family expectations, cultural boundaries, social responsibilities, or personal morals they believe they should never cross. Sometimes one of you is simply not free in a way that makes everything more complicated. Sometimes this connection challenges everything they once believed they wanted in life. So, instead of taking action, they stop themselves. Instead of speaking, they stay silent. Instead of moving closer, they keep their distance and watch quietly from afar. And this is something many people fail to understand. Silence does not always mean there are no feelings. Very often it means the feelings are too powerful to manage. This person is not emotionally calm when it comes to you. Their emotions are intense, but they hide them in silence. They do not speak because speaking may open a door they fear they cannot close. They do not act because action would force them to face consequences they are not ready for. They do not move closer because closeness would reveal feelings they have hidden even from themselves. One wise thinker once explained that what a person resists often becomes stronger. That is exactly what is happening here. Every time they try not to contact you, the feeling grows stronger. Every time they step back, the connection feels tighter. Every time they deny what they truly feel, the bond sinks deeper instead of fading away. Feelings that are pushed down do not disappear. They often become more powerful over time. This explains the strange emotional shifts you sometimes feel. Comment 111 if you can feel this connection right now. It explains why you sense them even when they are nowhere near you. It explains why thoughts of them arrive unexpectedly without effort. It explains why your emotions sometimes change for no clear reason. You may feel their energy around you, even in quiet moments. You may sense unfinished emotions moving silently between you. That happens because hidden feelings do not vanish. They remain and wait. Another powerful truth teaches that until the hidden parts of the mind are faced and understood, they continue guiding life from the shadows, often appearing to us as simple fate. Much of what connects you now remains hidden, unspoken, and unresolved. Because it stays beneath the surface, it creates tension, emotional intensity, and inner conflict. This person keeps you in their private thoughts while the outside world sees only a calm and controlled face. They may appear balanced, but inside they are pulled in opposite directions constantly, wanting something and then immediately resisting it. This is not because you mean little to them. It is because you matter so deeply that it creates fear. They worry about disrupting lives. They worry about going against what they believe is right. They worry about starting something they may not know how to stop. Type sacred if you have ever experienced this kind of silent emotional pull with someone. That inner battle is exhausting. It is why the connection can feel heavy. It is why the intensity remains even without direct communication. It is why distance does not bring peace. Another truth says that when two people truly meet, it is like two elements touching. If a reaction happens, both are changed forever. That has already happened here. Both of you, whether you fully realize it or not, have been changed by simply knowing each other. Something inside you shifted when you felt them. This is not imagination. This is not a mistake. This is a connection that moves beyond ordinary logic and simple explanation. That is why time alone cannot erase it. It is not kept alive by routine. It is kept alive by meaning. Another beautiful truth says that where love leads, there is no desire to control. In this connection, control is not the purpose. Power is not what drives it. That is why it feels confusing. There are no games being played. There is no manipulation. There are simply two people touched by something they never expected and do not know how to fit into their everyday lives. As this understanding grows, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. You are not a temporary distraction. You are not a mistake. You cannot simply be replaced. You are part of a deeper story that has already begun guiding both of you toward a more honest understanding of who you really are. As that understanding continues to grow, the true purpose of this restricted bond will slowly reveal itself step by step, gently and patiently, until the next truth is ready to show itself. If you are still here listening, you are already among the rare few who are willing to face what most people spend their entire lives avoiding. Most people move past messages like this. Most people ignore what they feel because it is easier to stay distracted. It is easier to call everything coincidence. It is easier to deny what cannot be explained. But something inside you chose to stay. Something inside you recognized these words. That matters. Because the second important truth is even deeper than the first. This connection is not here simply to bring longing. It is not here only to create distance or emotional confusion. It is here to transform both of you. Sometimes certain people enter our lives not to stay immediately, but to awaken something inside us that has been sleeping. They reveal hidden parts of ourselves. They bring old wounds to the surface. They force us to look at what we fear, what we avoid, and what we truly desire. This person may be thinking about you constantly because your presence has stirred something inside them they can no longer ignore. You may have awakened emotions they buried years ago. You may represent a version of life they secretly wished for, but never believed they could have. You may remind them of a part of themselves they lost somewhere along the way. And in the same way, they may be awakening something inside you. This is why the connection feels deeper than attraction. It feels meaningful because it is. It feels powerful because it is changing both of you. Even in separation, something is happening beneath the surface. Growth is happening. Awareness is growing. Hearts are being prepared. Sometimes love cannot arrive fully until both people are ready to receive it. Sometimes distance exists because timing is still unfolding. Sometimes what feels like delay is actually protection. You may not understand it yet. They may not understand it yet. But that does not mean nothing is happening. It simply means the story is still being written. Trust what you feel. Trust what your inner voice keeps trying to tell you. If this person keeps returning to your thoughts, if their energy continues to touch your heart, if something inside you refuses to let go, there may be a reason for that. Not every connection is meant to be ignored. Some are meant to be honored quietly until clarity arrives. For now, allow yourself to feel without forcing answers. Allow space for what is unfolding. You do not need to chase. You do not need to control. What is meant to reveal itself will do so in the right time. Some bonds are silent because they are still becoming what they are meant to be. And somewhere, perhaps at this very moment, someone is thinking about you just as deeply as you are thinking about them. Trying to resist, trying to understand, trying to remain calm while their heart quietly moves toward you. The connection is real. The distance is real. The restriction is real. But so is the meaning behind it. Not because they feel nothing, but because the feeling reaches them too deeply. If something inside you is already reacting to this, subscribe now and turn on notifications. What you are about to hear is not only about distant connections and silent love, it will completely change the way you see yourself. And as this truth slowly settles inside you, another reality becomes impossible to ignore. This connection does not behave like ordinary attraction. It does not weaken because of distance. It does not disappear through logic alone. It does not fade simply because it creates difficulties. Instead, it quietly follows both of you like a shadow that belongs to neither person alone, but to the energy created whenever you come together. You may notice that even during busy days, when life demands your attention somewhere else, this person still enters your thoughts without effort. It is not because you are trying to think about them. It is because something unfinished continues to rise inside you. And the exact same thing is happening within them. They may spend days acting completely untouched. They may appear fully focused on work, family, responsibilities, routines, and obligations. But the human mind always returns to what it cannot fully complete. They remember how deeply understood they felt around you without needing many words. They remember how natural it felt to simply exist beside you without pretending. They remember the strange comfort and the powerful feeling that they had somehow known you long before meeting you. They remember moments that carried more meaning than they expected. And that is exactly why the connection unsettles them so deeply. Once someone feels truly seen at that level, the experience cannot be erased. This is where many people misunderstand restricted connections. They assume distance means one person does not care enough. But often the opposite is true. Distance is not always created by weak emotions. Sometimes it is created by emotions that feel far too powerful. This person senses that if they move even slightly closer, they may never return to the version of themselves they once were. They feel that something permanent exists on the other side of complete honesty, and they are not yet prepared to tear apart the life they spent years building carefully, even if that life no longer matches the person they are becoming inside. So they choose control instead of vulnerability. They choose familiarity instead of emotional intensity. They choose the discomfort they already know instead of stepping into a truth they still fear fully trusting. But every decision carries a cost. Every time they bury their true feelings, those emotions do not disappear. They transform into something else within them. They show up as restlessness, distraction, emotional distance, and a quiet sense that something important is missing. They may begin questioning relationships that once felt secure and stable. They may feel an emptiness they cannot fully explain. They may wonder why old comforts no longer satisfy them the same way. During those moments, they may never speak your name aloud, but you become an invisible emotional standard inside their mind. You represent a level of honesty they have not yet allowed themselves to fully live. That is why this connection always feels unfinished. It is not only about two people missing each other. It is about two separate lives standing at the edge of a deep and unavoidable transformation. And you feel this too. Even if you cannot fully explain it, you may notice that after meeting this person, your standards quietly changed. What you accept in relationships now feels different. What you truly desire has become clearer. Things you once tolerated without question now feel emotionally empty. You may notice yourself becoming less willing to stay in situations where someone is only partially present emotionally. You may feel less patience for shallow connections without real depth. You now understand what true emotional connection feels like. That understanding did not appear from nowhere. It came through recognition, and this is where the deeper meaning of the connection begins to appear. This bond is not only about wanting another person, it is about waking up internally. Some relationships are meant to build a future together. Others exist to awaken something sleeping within you. This connection belongs strongly to the second kind, not because it can never become more, but because its deepest purpose is already unfolding inside you. You met this person at the exact moment something within you was ready to shift. And they met you during a time when they were secretly questioning the life they had been living, even if they never admitted it to anyone. That is why the attraction feels both intense and confusing at the same time. You act like mirrors for one another. You reveal the hidden parts they tried to avoid, and they awaken pieces of you that had been waiting silently beneath the surface. This type of bond does not follow ordinary timing. It does not rush. It does not arrive with obvious answers or direct clarity. Instead, it works slowly inside both people, changing priorities, values, and the understanding of what truly matters most. Right now, type the number 1011 in the comments. In spiritual symbolism and in the meaningful patterns Jung explored, 111 represents the moment when hidden truths become visible, when two energies moving toward one another finally align. If this message reached you at the exact moment you needed it, let that number become your sign of recognition. The channel notices every comment shared here. Leave 111 if you feel this message was brought into your life for a reason. That is why even the silence between you still feels alive, because something continues moving beneath it. You may ask yourself why letting go feels impossible. Why overthinking cannot end the connection. Why convincing yourself that nothing can happen still does not bring peace. It is because this bond is not sustained by fantasy alone. It continues because of a truth that has not yet been completely lived. And once a truth has been deeply felt, it cannot simply be forgotten. You are not only attached to a person. You are attached to an emotional experience that permanently changed you. And they are experiencing the same thing inside themselves. This does not mean you should spend your entire life waiting. It does not mean you should pause your future. It does not mean you should sacrifice your present for uncertain possibilities. It means you should understand clearly what this connection is trying to reveal to you. It is showing you how deeply your heart is capable of feeling. It is showing you the kind of love that gives energy instead of draining it away. It is reminding you that real emotional truth goes beyond convenience and safety. And whether they admit it or not, it is teaching them the exact same lesson. What happens next cannot be forced. It cannot be controlled through desire alone. It cannot be accelerated through chasing, silence, or emotional pressure. This type of bond only fully opens when honesty becomes stronger than fear. Until that moment arrives, it remains suspended between two worlds, not completely gone, yet not fully present either. It stays alive in thoughts, emotions, memories, and quiet moments where truth speaks softly rather than loudly. As time continues moving forward, the tension between who they were and who they are becoming will keep increasing. The same transformation is happening inside you as well. Eventually, something must shift, because a mind that has truly awakened cannot return to sleep forever. And when change finally arrives, it will not happen through dramatic actions alone. It will happen through readiness. Real readiness comes quietly. It grows through accumulated discomfort and the painful realization that something inside no longer fits the life being lived externally. For them, this often begins with small emotional cracks. They slowly realize that the roles they play feel heavier than before. Responsibilities they once carried easily now begin to feel restrictive. Old emotional habits start feeling empty, even when life still appears stable from the outside. You are not the cause of that inner conflict. You are simply the light that revealed what already existed beneath the surface. You did not destroy the stability of their life. You only illuminated the places where their outer reality no longer matched their inner truth. That is exactly why this connection feels dangerous to them. Not because it threatens physical safety, but because it challenges the carefully protected image of the life they created. Comfortable lives are often built upon illusions people work hard to maintain, but truth demands responsibility. Truth requires courage. Truth asks a person to face what they genuinely feel and decide whether they are brave enough to live honestly. Many people are not prepared for that decision when these emotions first appear. So they delay. They create explanations. They convince themselves the feelings are temporary. They call it confusion or imagination. They tell themselves the emotions will disappear if ignored long enough. But deep emotional bonds do not disappear through avoidance. They slowly transform into pressure. The kind of pressure that builds silently until it can no longer stay hidden. That is why you may experience periods of intense emotional closeness, followed by sudden distance. Moments where they seem completely emotionally present, only to quickly pull away again. One part of them wants to move closer to what feels real, while another part fears everything that closeness could change forever. And this internal conflict creates the push and pull you continue feeling between you both.